I must reiterate what Purohit sir has said. Institutions are not corrupt. There are certain people who may have certain ulterior motives who will coerce the people who are under them to go in a certain way. Now you can have RDX right here. It's literally in a powder form. You can keep it here. Matches bhi jala sakte ho. It won't blast. That the contamination of evidence with respect to this case has been so much that every time, every fact that you may want to talk about, it will eventually boil down to उसकी integrity ही नहीं थी.
Explain the importance of RDX in this, because it was said that Colonel Purohit brought it.
That there were 33 packets sent to the FSL for examination. एक पैकेट में उन्होंने उसी में ही मिट्टी डाली हुई है, उसी में ही लोगों के ब्लड स्टेन्ड कपड़े हैं, श्रैपनल्स भी उसी में ही है.
तो क्रॉस कंटेमिनेशन होगा.
Absolutely. For the investigating officer, he says, I went to the crime scene, I saw the freedom bike जिसके डिक्की के नीचे RDX रखा था. उसको कैसे पता RDX रखा है? On 30th, when you are saying कि मैंने बोल दिया कि उसमें RDX रखा है, do you have the scientific reports to say that it is RDX? How do you know it is RDX?
30 odd witnesses went hostile.
Yes. They unequivocally reiterated the fact that when they were being beaten and coerced, it was being done to appease the people in power at the time.
He was tortured, and he says that the torture happened by a fellow Fauji.
It's a psychological tactic, having your own brother from the forces torture you to make you feel that nobody is ever going to come and save you.
Namaste, Jai Hind. You're watching or listening to another edition of the ANI podcast with Smita Prakash. My guest today is Priya Kaushal. She's advised several lawyers on legal cases, including the 2008 Malegaon blast case, where she supported the legal defense team of Colonel Prasad Purohit with forensic and procedural insights. But before we begin the conversation, here's a short primer. The 2008 Malegaon blast occurred on September 29, 2008, which targeted a Muslim-majority town in Maharashtra. A motorcycle bomb exploded near a mosque, resulting in the deaths of 6 people and injuries to over 100. Several people were arrested in connection with the case. Our focus in the podcast is the arrest, the charges and the acquittal of Lieutenant Colonel Prasad Purohit. The Maharashtra Anti-Terrorism Squad, the ATS, arrested Lieutenant Colonel Purohit on November 2008, alleging that he was involved in the planning of the attack while working as an intelligence officer. Purohit was the first serving army officer to be implicated in the terrorism case in India. After several investigations, including oversight by India's National Investigation Agency, NIA, the trial spanned several years with over 300 witnesses examined, although many turned hostile. On August 2, 2025, a special court in Mumbai acquitted all 7 accused in the Malegaon blast case, including Colonel Purohit. The verdict highlighted several critical points, one being the lack of evidence. The court ruled that the prosecution failed to provide sufficient evidence to link the accused to the blast. Specifically, it couldn't prove that the bomb used was connected to any of the defendants. Different agencies, that is the ATS and later the NIA, interpreted the same forensic evidence differently. The prosecution built its early case on forensic reading, but later that was contradicted by fresh analysis. So we spoke with a forensics expert who joined in Colonel Purohit's defense team just last year. Priya, thank you so much for coming for the podcast. I would like to know actually from the beginning as to how you joined the Colonel Purohit case. When did you join? Why? Because forensic psychologist is what what I'm told is what you are. I don't even know what that means. And you've researched psychopathy and its connection to criminal behavior in India. What is psychopathy? I want to know all this. I want you to demystify your profession and, of course, the news of the day, Colonel Purohit coming out and everything. So you just tell me about this. What happened? How did you join the case?
So, I'm a forensic psychologist, like you've mentioned. This was back in 2024, around May. I was in some sort of rut, so I called up Sir Colonel Bakshi, Colonel Hani Bakshi.
Hani Bakshi, okay.
Yes.
So for viewers and listeners who don't know, Colonel Hani Bakshi has appeared several times on the podcast, but episode 18 is what I would really recommend you watch, and there is a chunk in that about Colonel Purohit which you would like to see it, I'm sure. Hanji.
So it was again related something, sir, let me know what is the true identity of X person. Again, he's still doing the intelligence stuff. I mean, even
Okay, the
after
person.
retired,
Okay.
after
Haan.
retiring, I'm talking about sir. So Colonel Bakshi, so that is where we actually met. Also, that's how we met. Then sir, when he asked me, what do you do? XYZ. So I told sir, I'm a forensic psychologist. I generally assist with respect to polygraph aspects of a criminal case.
Okay.
So that's what primarily we do from a forensic point of view. There are other duties as well, but that is what I was doing at the time. So he was like, Are, I have a friend and do you do narco also? Like, well, it's a part of our job, but I have never done it. But I understand what it is. Like, I'm very familiar with what the process is. So it's like, Colonel Purohit ka naam suna hai? I'm like, yes. In fact, I had actually met one of his colleague when I was when 2024, whatever the profession I was in, I was a lecturer. So I had shown him one of our labs actually, and then later I come to know that sir was also a part of the case somewhere down the line, but he was not like a main accused or anything. Like ATS had actually rounded up a lot of people who were at the time irrelevant, which was revealed after the NIA took over the case. So he was one of them. So I told him, I even met your friend, and that I'm sort of aware of what the case is, and that's how he discussed some crucial, pertinent, evidence-related questions to me, like spot पंचनामा क्या होता है, RDX हम कैसे पता लगाते हैं. तो when I started talking, sir was like, do me a favor, talk to Purohit. He really needs you.
Who Hani Bakshi said to
Yeah.
you? Okay.
So I anyway left. I was to leave my job, so I left my job. I came back to Bombay, and I met with sir. Like very quickly, I met with sir.
With
And-
Colonel Purohit?
Yeah, with Colonel Purohit. So me, Colonel Bakshi, and Colonel Purohit, we met at his place.
Okay.
And then I started telling sir that, sir, with respect to your spot Panchnama, XYZ is not in line. What about the RDX? RDX की तो ऐसे कभी होती ही नहीं है, RDX का तो. So there are a lot of procedural balances, checks and balances which are in place with respect to forensic analysis. It's not like आपने कुछ उठा लिया, police ने कुछ उठा लिया, and then they take it somewhere and they say now it has become an evidence. It doesn't work like that. There are a lot of checks and balances. So when I was talking to him, specifically with respect to checks and balances, because that's your first step. If your checks and balances are not in place, your evidence, as even the judge had noted in this case, becomes contaminated.
Okay.
And once your evidence is contaminated, you cannot rely on the report.
So when they found RDX, explain to me why was this is the 2008 Malegaon case, not the 2006 wala. This is 2008 blast.
Yes.
And explain the importance of RDX in this, because it was said that Colonel Purohit brought it and all. So explain to me कि शुरुआत में कैसे हुआ that RDX was found. How was it said that Colonel Purohit was involved in bringing that RDX, and how did that change?
So, to understand that, I think anyone can go through the judgment. That's one thing.
You're not part of the legal team.
No,
right?
So I'd really like to clarify one thing, that I'm not a part of the legal team which was standing in the court and who made the arguments. So especially in NIA court, every court has its own mandate. So even before I start talking, I must give my appreciation to the entire way the judge has come about the judgment, how the entire case has also unfolded, because the complexity of the case, because when I was introduced to it, the complexity of the case was like, what is even going on, and how will you deal with this mess? Because in the court, it's not about he said, she said. It's about evidence. If the evidence has its integrity, if the integrity is intact, if it is now intact beyond a reasonable doubt to prove something. So it's not like just because I presented it, therefore, wow, it proves something. Never. It has to prove something beyond a reasonable doubt. That's like your mantra when it comes to legal proceedings. So I was genuinely, as a forensic professional who's had a very, I've just begun, right? So for me, it was a very complex case. So first, kudos to everyone involved. Viral, who's the lawyer, along with him was Yasir. They also had their entire team. There's another person called Shrikant sir. He's no more, but
Yeah.
he's the one who
Chinde,
actually
no?
yes, he took on the case.
And he never lived to see the day of.
Unfortunately, but
Yeah.
I'm really hopeful that his soul will be so happy that what he truly believed in this, like ki sir is absolutely innocent and he's got to work on it. So I mean so my role in the case has been of a third party. So
Okay.
there's a concerned party and then there's a third party. Concerned party is the one who is going to be who has the burden or onus of being responsible for what they're saying and what they're doing, which is basically the lawyers and the accused. Me, I am an advisor. So I come in a capacity of advising that, see, according to my knowledge of how things are done, this is something that is not okay, or there's a discrepancy or whatever. So that's my role. Now coming to address like how when I got involved, like how did it all start. So when I was at Purohit sir's house and sir was discussing, within 5 minutes sir called Yasir, who's the other lawyer. Yasir, mujhe ye sab bhejna. And I must compliment his wife.
Aparna.
Yes, Aparna ma'am. She is the backbone for sir, and she is genuinely the backbone for the case. These are the words of the entire team, and I consider myself a part of the team because the amount of, she has all her documents on her fingertips. Ma'am, PW, this ka hame evidence chahiye, sent. But this is what I have seen how the team was working. So
17 years, man.
17 years, and sir now is a lawyer unofficially.
Yeah, because you're dealing with these documents. Yeah.
So every Indian Evidence Act, CRPC, IPC, everything, you just have to ask him. And you're like, ye aise ho sakta hai, Purohit sir. So when I was discussing a certain few things with respect to, we started with the explosives report, honestly speaking. And then once he, I don't know, he started believing in me कि नहीं ये बच्चे को कुछ तो आता है. And I call myself bacha because, see, I'm 28, right? I'm not a big shot person in this field either. Very few and limited cases I've been exposed to.
Which is why I was very keen to speak with you. Because बाकी सब TV पे आ चुके हैं, सब बोल चुके हैं.
Right.
And here you are this, relative bacha when you see their years and your years.
Yeah.
But I got to know that you have also contributed. So that's why I wanted to know what was your role.
Yeah, so
Did you get overwhelmed? कि ये लोग सब.
Absolutely. I think I have been texting sir before the judgment was to come. So many times I've texted, sir, I hope you're fine, I hope but in reality I was the one who was getting all the jitters, okay?
Okay.
Because I started like vicariously living कि अच्छा ठीक है, sir is fine, then even I should be fine. Reason being, if you look at how the case has unfolded, or at least when you get into the facts of the case. Now see, I would like to really highlight one thing. A criminal case is a criminal case. It's got nothing to do with how people perceive it. Public opinion has to be separated from the understanding of what a criminal case is. Criminal case is fought on some facts and issue. There are certain facts on which you'll bring in evidence and on which you will be probably fighting out the case, right? This case is so pertinent and so important for sir, specifically him, because blast kaise hua? RDX. Who is the accused for bringing in RDX? It's him. Nobody else has been accused of bringing in the RDX. So prima facie, if you look at it, the case seems very hi-fi ki wow, Sadhvi Pragya is there, this person's there, that person's there. But how grave the case is, always ask an accused, because the charges which are framed with respect to what we want to charge them with is always individual in nature. We cannot do a collective charge. जैसे लोगों को लगता है, ऐसा नहीं होता. And for him, if he was convicted, it's a death penalty. He loses his army ka job. He loses everything. Unfortunately, since I also come from a naval background, my father was in the Indian Navy, so I have this affinity towards my defense people because I grew up with them. And even today, so many of my friends are in the defense. So I have this affinity towards the kind of sacrifice they do day in and day out, right? So if he was convicted, not only does he lose his job, but anyway, the narrative which you will see generally, and I'm not saying from a public perspective, I'm saying from a legal perspective, that Indian Army indulges in untoward practices because the way ATS, so like you said that how did things unfold. So in the beginning, ATS said that the bomb was assembled by Purohit sir. So he's accused, right? From the initial 11 accused, so you have 11 accused, and then I think it becomes 10, or maybe it remains 11. We'll have to just check that out. However, he is the one who assembled the bomb at a place in Bhopal. When NIA took over the case, and when you say he assembled the bomb, it means he got the RDX from Kashmir, is the accusation per ATS, right?
He smuggled it out, it's supposedly.
Yes, during his...
that's what they say. During that training period where he was learning Arabic and all those things.
Yeah.
Beech mein he... Okay.
During that time, he got it from there. Which is super strange because Indian Army does not use RDX. Every institution will have its own methodology of dealing with certain things. See, it is not lay. I cannot, even as an army officer or whoever, you cannot just stand up one day and say, chalo, aaj hum ye karenge. No. Is it mandated? Is it written? Is there a precedent? If yes, you do it. If no, please get permissions from the headquarters. I mean, things don't go fly by just by a word, okay? I mean, it's very detailed on paper. If it's not on paper, it cannot happen. As simple as that, no matter what. So that's the claim by ATS, that he got it during his stint for the service period that he was in Kashmir. He smuggled it. And when NIA took over, around 6 accused were let off because they did not have credible information, credible evidence against them. So around 6 people.
Kab hua ye?
This will be around 2016.
16, huh?
Yes. So NIA, now for the understanding of lay people, I'd like to point out, ATS is a state agency. It's an LEA, law enforcement agency. However, it's a state one, right? Anti-terrorism squad. NIA, on the other hand, is a central agency. Both have different mandates, different ways of working, different ways of even going ahead with what protocols they'll follow and what they won't follow. Yeah. And I'm just being very descriptive with
Please
things.
Go ahead. There's no time limit, so aram se baat kar lena.
So, I mean...
because then, so the two different mandates.
Absolutely, two different mandates. So you cannot compare what ATS has done with NIA in terms of the way they have carried out investigations. Because ATS is going to follow the Bombay Police Manual. So every law enforcement agency has its own manual where everything is outlined. Organizational hierarchy, who will do what, their duties, what sort of cases they'll investigate, what they won't investigate, what they'll supervise, everything. All right. So it's not good to compare the two in terms of the ways of working. बहुत चीजें होती हैं.
Okay.
In this. So when NIA took over, NIA said that ये कश्मीर से नहीं आया है. They removed that part.
Oh.
They said no, it's not from Kashmir, but it changed to that he took it, or rather he was accused of taking it from one of the armories in Pune.
हाँ, तो कोई जब्त किया हुआ माल कहीं रखा हुआ है, उसमें से निकाला. All right.
Again, the thing is कि army तो doesn't keep RDX.
हाँ.
Army uses some other sort of explosive, which I'll just keep it for the army people.
No, suppose a terror attack has happened and RDX was used. Us time there was this Hyderabad blast and all this was happening. Makkah, Medina blast and all.
A lot of blasts. Yeah.
So in 2006, 2007, several blasts were happening. Suppose the army had kept in its Toshakhana, wherever it's kept. I don't know where it is kept.
Okay.
If it's kept out there, where is the RDX kept? Because those time RDX was used.
Right.
LET, RDX,
Right.
that it was. So somewhere the police or somebody was keeping it, right?
So there's a difference in mandate here.
Huh.
Army will never carry out investigations. Army is not an investigative agency. It comes under MOD. That's
Okay.
why the difference in ministries as well.
So Colonel Purohit would have had he wouldn't have been able to access RDX at all.
Because, well, yes. Because Army never uses RDX. So how can he even have access to the armory or weapons that
हाँ.
Army keeps? I mean, sorry.
Police keeps or whatever.
हाँ, RDX का
क्योंकि-
तो
हाँ.
access ही नहीं हो सकता.
हाँ.
That's one
All
thing.
right, हाँ.
Right. Now, coming कि अगर वहाँ से लिया या नहीं लिया, तो ये तो armory is not like it's under him, right? There's going to be an officer. You have to go, take permission. और ऐसा नहीं कि आप
Steal करके
किसी रूम में गए,
खोला
कुछ
है.
उठाया और आर्मी आप कभी आर्मी एरिया में जाके देखो, they won't let you put a foot also.
Yeah.
Those people are so strict.
Okay.
I mean, military people.
So at that time the talk was that because he was part of the military intelligence, he must have known how to assemble bombs, how to use RDX and stuff like that. Was
Basic weaponry knowledge.
Huh.
I'm not saying assembling bombs. I'm saying basic weaponry knowledge, how to fire weapons, semi-automatic, automatic, whatever. ये तो सब डिफेंस वालों को आता है. You can't. So this is where the court's understanding comes in. What the court says. Just because you have a knowledge of X thing, it does not substantiate the fact that this X knowledge was used to commit Y crime.
perfect.
That link has to be established, and that is the onus of your prosecuting agency to establish that beyond reasonable doubt in the eyes of the court, and of course the law enforcement agency to find such damning evidence कि they speak for themselves. So
Could the ATS do that?
unfortunately, for a lot of evidence that ATS had put on file, which was then taken up by the
NIA.
yes, when they had swifted through whatever information they had gathered, a new charge sheet was also filed. So a lot of evidence was dropped. I mean, I wouldn't say evidence was dropped, but a lot of you have certain facts in issue that we will fight on these facts to establish our case. So a lot of facts like that, in the sense that I'm just giving a very small example. One of the accused was blamed by the ATS. I wouldn't say blamed, rather that person was accused to have assembled the bomb, and that he was the one who travelled from Bhopal to Pune, or like the two places how the bomb was gotten. I mean, it was brought
Transported,
from one
huh.
place to the other place. When NIA took over, they found that he was never there. He never travelled. So information like this was
So
dropped.
didn't they have phone records or anything like that? How did ATS just say blame him like that, accuse him?
I think that's a very beautiful question that you brought, because this is the time in 2008 when we did not really use forensics or understand forensics, or we did not understand tower dump analysis. We did not understand CDRs, which is a call detail record that you can get from a service provider. Unfortunately, this is all. I'd rather say fortunately, this is also the observation of the honorable judge that tower dump analysis, CDR, none of that was put on record, which was and hence used to establish the proper geographical locations of the accused with respect to the accusations which were made. So it was not done.
Okay, yeah. In those days, it wasn't available.
It was available. However,
2008, but it wasn't used.
it wasn't used. Yeah, it was available. It was always available. It's just that it was not a very well practiced. I would say, it was not well practiced in terms of how you want to go about your investigations. क्योंकि see, the thing is, when you say that मुझे CDR लेना है या फिर I want to do a tower dump analysis, it's not like you can just take some information from an X agency and start working on it.
They wouldn't give it one first.
First is that they
Huh.
will be a little reluctant. How are you going to use the data?
Huh.
Second, we did not even have so many policies and acts now that we have with respect to data protection, with respect to how cybersecurity needs to come about. What is cybersecurity? How we are going to use all of this in terms of investigations, in terms of intelligence, because again, two different things, right? So we just cannot take something and put it in the, and this I am speaking on the behalf of, I wouldn't say behalf, but rather from a perspective of law enforcement agencies.
Okay.
You know, as a lay person, I can say कि ये भी कर सकते थे, वो भी कर सकते थे, but उनके पास mandate है क्या वो करने का? Are the policies in place to do that? Because policy will protect them. For law enforcement agencies, everything rests on the policies and the mandates that they have. How to go about which sort of evidence, in which procedure. So procedural way of going about things is of utmost importance when it comes to law enforcement
So
agencies.
tell me, how did the team prove that Colonel Purohit did not have RDX, did not use? But RDX tha, because there was this whole thing ki ammonium nitrate or something like that tha, right? So that part just explained to me. And the second one was that he assembled or didn't assemble. वो कैसे prove किया दोनों चीज?
They were not able to prove. The judge has cited.
The prosecution was not
able to prove that sir or anyone in the accused, because there are different, ATS says different people assembled the bomb, NIA says different people assembled the bomb. However, the prosecution was not able to prove that they had assembled the bomb. Now again, does it mean कि bomb assemble नहीं हुआ? No. The judgment and the judge has clearly said that bomb is there. There is no denying of the fact that bomb is there. But who
explosion
assembled
हुआ,
it?
हाँ.
Yes, explosion. According to the honorable court's observation, it is there.
हाँ.
However, who assembled the bomb? It was the onus of prosecution to prove it.
Correct.
Okay, it is these people who did it. These are the CDR. These are the photos, CCTV cam or whatever, you know, कि which proves them in this place. And यहाँ पे वो assemble हुआ. They were not able to do that. The prosecution was not able to prove or rather ascertain that whatever fact they had presented in front of the court, that this is the truth, or beyond reasonable doubt you can accept it. So that court has already observed. So अब किसने किया is a question that no one can answer, unfortunately. Reason being, it was the job of the law enforcement agencies to figure that out. This is exactly where I can also link your first question to the RDX part of it through honorable judge's observation that the contamination of evidence with respect to this case has been so much that every time, every fact that you may want to talk about, it will eventually boil down to uski integrity hi nahi thi, in the sense that it was contaminated, that you cannot believe on the veracity of the evidence telling you that beyond reasonable doubt this person has done it or this has happened.
So who contaminated it? Was it the prosecution? Was it the investigation? Or was it just in transport mein contamination ho gaya वैसे?
नहीं. So I'll tell you contamination in the sense of forensics, what it means. So, for example, this is a glass and this is water. You cannot pack the same water and the glass in the same polythene bag and give it to a forensic agency. You have to pack the water separately. You have to pack the glass separately. And if there are any latent prints on it, let's say lip mark or fingerprints or whatever, that has to be collected separately and transferred on how the fingerprint people do it, and then sent separately. You cannot put these three things in the same bag, because forensic science, or rather forensics, stands on 6 principles. One of the most important principle is the Locard's principle, which is basically every contact leaves a trace. So, जैसे if I put my hand here, the trace is the fingerprint and my DNA which has been transferred on the table. So, what has happened is, when the collection of evidence during the stage of crime scene investigation, so that is, let's go back to the day 29/9. It happened around, as per the ATS and as per their submission to the court and the FIR that they had submitted, which is again a copy of the FIR which they had submitted. There are many things in the case which are interesting. So the explosion happened around 9:30. All right, 9:30, 9:35. And within 10 minutes, 15,000 people gather and there is a riot that ensues. Okay, because it's apparently the eve of Navratri and also the holy month of Ramzan. So, and it's again a Muslim dominated area. How contamination has happened is, first of all, a scene of crime. Now, where the blast has taken place is your scene of crime. Okay. The moment some crime happens, you're supposed to isolate that place from everybody.
And here 20,000 people
And
are
they
there.
were, yeah. So how are you going to do that? That's one thing. So that's your, that is a contamination, is not something that you can, always avoid. Because this is a natural contamination.
A riot follows a blast
Right.
or panic crowds or
हो ही नहीं
whatever.
सकता, right?
Okay.
Unavoidable.
हाँ.
So, and the court is not, a strict, I would say, body in this sense that they will never consider these parts. No. I have to give it to the honorable court. Not that other judges don't do it, even they do it. However, the amount of consideration the court has shown with respect to what the evidence is, the veracity of evidence, it is amazing. So the court did observe this, that contamination did happen there. However, the contamination that we are talking about, or rather we talk about, is during the collection of evidence.
Okay.
So during the scene of, this is where I come in. Rather, this is where my expertise came in. Sir told me that riots हो गए. तो मैंने बोला, sir, if riots happened, how come these, first of all, evidence was even put on...
Admissible.
It was even put on record. I mean, you can put on record, no doubt. But what about the contamination part of it? Did they not bring that into picture? Because, again, how do we measure and how do we understand an evidence is on the veracity of it.
Priya, you bring this in 2024. इससे पहले उन्होंने बात नहीं किया था about contamination?
किया था ना. So Shrikant sir that we were talking about, he had actually already cross-examined on these parts. So when I was talking to Viral about the same question, I had the same question from the team. Okay, did you guys not bring this into picture? They said हमने लाया था ना कि evidence contaminated है. But the thing is, see, आज तक भी forensic science is so divorced from how you can use it in legal perspective कि वो gravity of things has to be explicitly explained to the people who are involved in the case. And I'm not saying that my lawyers didn't know this. They already knew it. But then, just if you make a statement ki, to the court saying, sir, this is contaminated, therefore it should not be, it should not be considered. Why will he listen to you? Do you have a mandate showing that? Because everything works on law, right? Do you have a mandate showing that? Do you have a document which proves what you're saying? So, therefore, this is where I came in.
Okay.
So, I furnished almost everything with respect to what is contamination, how you look at contamination. So, यहाँ पे जो contamination जिसकी हम बात कर रहे हैं, जो honorable court ने भी observe किया था, and in his the day when the judgment came out, he specifically pointed out the contamination of evidence. So he is pointing out to the fact that from the crime scene, when the evidences had to be collected, the evidence was not collected by the forensic science expert who was supposed to do it.
So I'm just quoting out from a newspaper report. It says, Judge Lahoti emphasized that no proper sketch of forensic samples such as fingerprints, DNA or ballistic evidence were collected. The spot was not barricaded to preserve the evidence. Contaminated articles were sent for analysis, which affects the accuracy of the results.
Absolutely. So when he says it was not barricaded, the scene was not barricaded in the sense anyone could enter the scene, anyone can leave the scene. So even the footwear that you're wearing, it will transfer mud or earth particles. So when there's a course, there's a way how you determine कि वो जो blast हुआ है उसमें आपको explosive substance के radicals मिले हैं. So you do an earth comparison. You take the earth or rather the sample of whatever you pick up from ground. you compare it with a sample which is an uncontaminated sample, or a sample which has got nothing to do with this, right? Different location altogether. Now you can make a comparison. इसमें ये है और इसमें ये नहीं है, right? So when he says that barricading हुई नहीं थी, हुई भी थी तो there was no mandate of not letting anyone in. ये होना चाहिए कि हम यहाँ पे CSI कर रहे हैं, crime scene investigation कर रहे हैं. Not everyone is allowed. That is one thing to note. The other thing to note with respect to when he says evidence were collected in a contaminated fashion, what he means is that there were 33 packets sent to the FSL for examination. आप मानोगे नहीं, एक पैकेट में उन्होंने उसी में ही मिट्टी डाली हुई है, उसी में ही लोगों के ब्लड स्टेन्ड कपड़े हैं, उसी में ही जो shrapnels उठाए जाते हैं. These are certain metallic parts which are actually, they cut your body, which is actually used for making a bomb. Like nails हो गया, metal pieces हो गए. So these are shrapnels. Shrapnels भी उसी में ही है.
तो cross contamination हो गया.
Absolutely. So even if there was no particulate matter of, let's say, RDX on the shirt, the bloodied shirt which is being
sent. But the
sent,
shrapnel might have. Okay.
Locard's principle. Everything, every contact will leave a trace. Yeah. No matter how minute, or that is why in forensics when the examination happens, it doesn't happen in large quantity, nanometers. इतने छोटे हम particulate matter पे आके.
How did they connect RDX with Colonel Purohit? What was the connection?
This is something also when we were talking, I was sort of this was my first question. How do you know this was RDX? The answer given to me was because the forensic report says so. मैंने बोला, how does the forensic guy know that this is RDX? So there are certain tests which have to be done to ascertain if it's an RDX or if it's a different substance altogether. All right? So when they said कि the report says it's RDX, मैंने बोला control क्या था? So again, I gave you the example of comparing an earth sample of the scene of crime with the earth sample of that's got nothing to do with the scene of crime, right? So when we do a comparison in forensics, we do a comparison of the experimental stuff, or rather the evidence which has been sent to us, when we compare it to a completely neutral substance. Okay. So the neutral substance has got nothing to do with your evidence, right? So when I ask them, तो उसको हम control बोलते हैं basically. Okay. Right? So I have to compare my experimental stuff, the one that I have to work on, with the control. And control is mine. I know what the control is. Okay. So in a forensic science lab, you will always have controls. So you will already have a control of RDX as a sample. You will have a control of ANFO, जो यहाँ पे अमोनियम नाइट्रेट यूज किया है, उसका कंट्रोल होगा, पेट्रोलियम का कंट्रोल होगा. और ये कंट्रोल कहाँ से आता है? ये कंट्रोल बेसिकली जो हमारा जो मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ साइंस एंड टेक है, उसमें वी हैव समथिंग नोन एज NABL. NABL इज नेशनल एक्रेडिटेशन board of calibration and laboratories. So it basically enforces an ISO standard. Okay. So ISO 17025 is the one which will enforce and tell the laboratory. Okay. Okay, now when you're doing analysis, how will you analyze if you don't know what you are analyzing?
Okay, in simple terms, it's a clean component.
It's a clean component which is given by an
agency.
Which will give you a certificate saying this is a clean component.
Okay, that ISO certification. Yes. All right. So you have a clean component and here you have RDX.
Yes.
I mean, this is also RDX, but clean RDX. This is RDX
something
which from the scene.
No, this is something that the police has sent to you and told कि हमें बताओ ये क्या है. तो आपको और नहीं पता है कि वो RDX है. That's the thing. So I as an examiner, I'm not supposed to know कि वो RDX है. Okay. ऐसा नहीं है कि कभी पुलिस की एग्जामिनर से बात होती नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है. पुलिस बिल्कुल केस डिस्कस करते हैं, दैट इज नॉर्मल, दैट इज फाइन. वो बोलते हैं कि हमें सस्पेक्ट दैट दिस इज RDX. दे आर नॉट से इट विद एफर्मेटिव स्टांस कि यही RDX है, आप हमें प्रूव करके दो अपनी रिपोर्ट में कि ये RDX है, राइट? सो ये केस में एंड NABL इज वन. मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि अगर किसी भी FSL के पास, FSL इज फोरेंसिक साइंस लेबोरेटरी, उनके पास अगर NABL एक्रेडिटेशन नहीं है तो वो बेकार है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. ओके. इट इज जस्ट यू बिकम मोर ऑथेंटिक इन द आईज ऑफ द कोर्ट.
हाँ.
because now you're following a guideline.
Okay.
That's the simple difference,
Got
right?
it. Huh.
So यहाँ पे they obviously did not have an NABL at the time that we are talking. So that is why I asked them, where did they get the control from? Because I know in NABL where the control comes from, right? Like I said, this is where I came in, my expertise came in. So sir told me कि इनको जो 2006 का blast हुआ था, again, this was told to me. If it's the truth or not, I am
Sure.
not saying that this is the truth, right? That during the course of cross examinations and all, that such a question was definitely asked, where it was probably discussed that they had ATS itself had given the control sample to FSL Nashik, but by that time it had come to Kalina, so FSL Kalina, basically FSL Maharashtra में, to make the comparison कि ये RDX है या नहीं.
Okay.
So now the thing is, how can a law enforcement agency give a control sample to an FSL?
हाँ.
क्योंकि law enforcement agency तो आपको कुछ भी दे सकती है,
Yeah.
ये बोल के कि ये तो RDX है. How do you know it is not RDX?
हाँ.
So this is where the procedural mandate comes in.
Okay.
You cannot simply take control samples from anyone who says कि भाई ये control है.
They could have an ulterior motive.
Obviously.
Because they have to prove the case.
Exactly. That is exactly why FSL or a forensic science laboratory needs to divorce itself from law enforcement agencies to an extent that we cannot be seen on the same...
With an investigation. Okay.
Yes. We cannot.
ठीक है.
ठीक है.
So you asked them कि कहाँ से मिला? They said कि उस
वो
वहाँ से
ATS ने
मिला.
भेजा था.
ATS ने भेजा.
I have worked at CFSL Chandigarh. And CFSL is a Central Forensic Science Laboratory which comes under MHA. So...
Ministry of Home Affairs. Okay.
हाँ जी.
हाँ.
I was like, but we don't do this in CFSL. CFSL के standards तो
हाँ.
बकायदा, because it's an ISO, accredited organization. हमारे तो samples ऐसे कभी हमें पुलिस ने नहीं दिए, और हमें पुलिस कुछ दे तो हम accept भी नहीं करते. So we have 7 CFSLs.
हाँ.
I think 2023 only, CBI had a dedicated, I wouldn't say dedicated, but CBI had its own CFSL.
Okay.
That is now a part. So then we had 6 CFSLs and 1 CBI lab. But now even that CBI lab has become a part of so all of these comes
Okay.
under DFSS, Directorate of Forensic Sciences and Services.
हाँ.
So we have 7 CFSLs. And we have these 7 CFSLs even, since ages now.
Okay.
ठीक है?
All right. So now, so you put this question to Colonel Purohit and say that इसमें गड़बड़ है.
Yes.
What was his reaction?
He was like, but हमें तो पता ही नहीं था ऐसा भी होता है. मेरा सर, लेकिन ये ऐसा ही होता है. आप कैसे मान सकते हो कि मैं आपको whatever I'm giving you, this is the RDX. How can you accept that, first of all? Why is this not being questioned? कि where did you get your control from?
हाँ.
Right. So sir was like, Priya, एक काम कर. Do you have any place to prove like कि ऐसा ही होता है? I'm like, yes. Look at any working. So we have an SOP. It's called a working procedure manual in forensic science labs. So look at any FSL ka working procedure manual. Ask them to furnish the working procedure manuals they were using in 2008. You have your answer there.
Did they do that?
They didn't have to, because by the time I came, we were already at the last leg of the trial, which is basically giving the closing arguments and the written submission, the last closing written submission, that this is it from our end, and this is how we summarize. So we did discuss this. The lawyers were like, idea बहुत अच्छा है, but it's a little too late. So, but I had my knowledge of these things. So we basically banged on it, and I was able to showcase exactly how it's done, because there are certain forensic science books.
Basically, if this line had happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago, he would have been out, no?
This is what even the judge observed, and my absolutely grateful to his observations. Like I said, the judge has to be commended. A very, very complex case with a lot of restraint. He has observed the entire case. So when I was able to I was in the court. Thankfully, the judge had allowed me to be in the court, because ऐसे nobody can just enter a court. And sir made the observation that if she would have come a little early, then our 5 to 6 months of cross examination would have diluted down to 3 to 4 days. So it's a big compliment for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So then, एक तो ये था about the RDX and about bomb making. They couldn't establish that.
Can I just add a few
Yeah,
more things about
sure.
RDX?
हाँ.
You know, Smita, you can have RDX right here. It won't blast.
हाँ. Okay.
RDX is not a volatile substance. It's literally in a powder form. You can keep it here. Matches भी जला सकते हो. It won't blast. So when the claim was made that RDX is what was used, my first question to sir was, what's your primary detonator? What's your primary explosive? So there are categories of explosives. You just don't have an explosive. The categories of explosive: primary, inorganic, organic. I mean, I don't want to get into it, but then for the sake of just establishing where RDX falls, RDX is a secondary high explosive. Secondary means it will never detonate on its own. You need a primary blast or a primary explosive, which is more susceptible to or more volatile in nature. So when this blast will occur,
That
the shock
ignites.
waves and the shock waves from this blast will trigger this RDX, and that is when you have a bigger blast. So RDX को blast होने के लिए you need a booster. I mean, you need a
Pataka.
detonator basically.
Okay.
So that's your detonator.
So
and
he had no access to detonators.
no, in this case they never found a detonator. Exactly why RDX. I'm not saying कि blast नहीं हुआ है.
But detonator blast के time detonator गुम गया, वो भी हो सकता है because there are 20,000 people.
हो सकता है, but detonator के pieces आपको ज़रूर मिलेंगे.
हाँ.
ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता that something was on the site and you cannot find it. Impossible.
And like, how did they rule out that there was no suicide bomber, nothing like that?
Because I think this is a very important part, because this is exactly how the case took shape. From the when the blast happens, on the very same evening, that's 29th ki evening and 30th, because 30th is when evidence collection has taken place. Nobody, and before I continue this, I must reiterate what Purohit sir has said. Institutions are not corrupt. There are certain people who may have certain ulterior motives, who will coerce their, the people who are under them to go in a certain way. Because ATS has done a commendable job countless times. Just because this case shows a lot of things which happen, it does not point any finger at what ATS stands for. ATS is a premier institution, and I must reiterate again, and I'm saying it with absolute sincerity, that police people, they genuinely put their heart and soul in their job. It's not an easy thing to be a police officer. So when this happened, वो पूरी रात वहाँ पे थे. You know, imagine yourself that there's a blast, there has been a riot, and you are literally standing there. So on 30th, whenever a crime scene happens, the first thing, I mean, and especially when it's a heinous crime scene, मतलब जहाँ पे mass casualty हुई है, you need to understand that कोई भी police officer कोई भी crime scene को investigate करने की authority नहीं रखता. There are jurisdictions, right? So this is a big crime scene. So especially in cases like this, first thing is that you call an FSL so that they can pick up all the evidence. So when the FSL team had arrived on the place, they were simply given the narrative कि यहाँ पे blast हुआ है, जिसमें 6 people have died and around 101, I'm not sure with the number, but so many people are injured. Right? Unfortunately, during the entire course of the investigation, the scientific expert, there was never a question which was raised by the this is the primary law enforcement agency, and पहले ATS के पास case नहीं था. Case was with somebody else. Local jurisdiction के पास case होता है, and then with this, like I said, आपको jurisdiction की allowed होना चाहिए कि आप वो case को investigate कर सकते हैं, नहीं कर सकते. Right? ATS has the mandate, तो ATS को चला गया. ठीक है? So never during the first phase of the investigative period was the question raised, पहला, क्या ये सीरियसली RDX ब्लास्ट है या ये कोई और ब्लास्ट है, या यहाँ पे सिर्फ सिलेंडर फटा है या कुछ और ब्लास्ट हुआ है. Never was this question ever entertained. From day one, with respect to even the reports, so with respect to whatever documents I was able to read and went through, आते ही इन्वेस्टिगेट जो फोरेंसिक साइंस एक्सपर्ट आए थे उनको इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग एजेंसी के प्रोफेशनल ने बोल दिया कि यहाँ पे RDX ब्लास्ट हुआ है, ये LML फ्रीडम बाइक है, इसी के ऊपर वो बॉम्ब रखा था, इसी से ही ब्लास्ट हुआ है.
Which was supposed to be Sadhvi Pragya's
supposedly.
Supposedly, हाँ.
वो उनका
Then that link also could not
but
be
यहाँ पे
established.
ये ऐसा लिंक नहीं बना है. You know, it's very interesting. So the investigating officer, पहली बात तो he's never supposed to lead तो आप कर ही नहीं सकते, because scientific profession is supposed to use his own mind and furnish a report. ठीक है, तो पहले ही उन्होंने उनको बोल दिया कि यही बाइक है, ब्लास्ट बाइक है, एंड इट इज देयर ऑन एविडेंस. ही सेइंग मुझे तो उन्होंने बोल दिया ये ब्लास्ट बाइक है, तो मैंने वहां पे चला गया. ठीक है, दैट्स वन थिंग. एंड जब आप देखते हो
You're leading,
so you're not supposed to lead, right? And for the investigating officer, when he was on, according to his statements, he says, I went to the crime scene crime scene, I saw the freedom bike जिसके डिक्की के नीचे RDX रखा था. उसको कैसे पता RDX रखा है? तुम्हारे पास क्या अभी तक on 30th when you are saying कि मैंने बोल दिया कि उसमें RDX रखा, do you have the scientific reports to say that it is RDX? How do you know it is RDX? Where is RDX coming from? And why is it RDX first of all? You have TNT, you have PET, you have so many things. Why RDX? So एक तो he makes that statement.
Also at that time थोड़ा सा वो मीडिया भी चल रहा था. If you remember, I mean you were
in
school probably.
Yes, I was in school.
So at that time every blast within hours TV channels would say RDX.
Yes.
And it was planted also on TV channels to say RDX. So I remember that time hardly anybody thought, everybody thought ये LET RDX, you know. So it default पे चला जाता है, you know. So it's possible that also might have happened. I don't know. I'm just saying.
It's absolutely possible. But then isn't that our job to be...
Correct. You're professionals, yes.
We are professionals, right?
Yeah.
We are following a mandate. The mandate says, who are you to comment unless until you don't have evidence to comment? Then how are we even commenting?
Just because there's a mangled scooter, you presume that under it was the explosive and the explosive was RDX.
बहुत ही स्पेसिफिक है कि इसके डिक्की के नीचे रखा है और ये जो ब्लास्ट हुआ है ये RDX ब्लास्ट हुआ है, बोल दिया उन्होंने. द सेकेंड थिंग दैट द प्राइमरी इन्वेस्टिगेटर, व्हेन आई से प्राइमरी आई मीन द फर्स्ट, लाइक ऑन दैट सीन ऑन दैट डे, उन्होंने किया वाज he declared, and this is on his evidence, basically what he said to the court, that this is a stolen bike. ठीक है? I immediately sent a wireless to all the local thanas and all the thanas in Maharashtra saying कि अगर आपके पास ऐसे make and color की बाइक की कोई stolen report आई है तो मुझे बताओ. Sir, you are standing there. How do you know this is stolen? He's like, जैसे मैंने चेसी देखा मुझे पता था fake है. आपको कैसे पता? ये बताओ आप. On 30th, at the time when you've seen the bike, how do you know? So this is
mangled completely.
Exactly. So how do you know that this is stolen? So there is and this is where, like I said, my expertise, what we do in forensic science is whenever there is a stolen or whenever there is a vehicle, we check two things: if the chassis number and the engine number is intact or is it altered with. Okay, so this is how you ascertain the validity of that bike's owner. हम ये method follow करते हैं. But मिस्टर जो साइंटिफिक ऑफिसर हैं वो तो अभी तक आए ही नहीं हैं. वो तो आपके क्राइम सीन पे पहुंच के उन्होंने वो एविडेंस उठा के एनालाइज तो अभी तक किया ही नहीं है. तो हाउ डू यू नो दिस इज अ फेक chassis number because he said it, and the other thing, it is a stolen bike. He's like, I immediately started I round up 5 people and I immediately started questioning them कि ये किसका बाइक है, कौन छोड़ के गया, तुम्हें पता है. तो मतलब there is a narrative set already which is also observed by the honorable court, which is like I said, the nitty-gritty that the court has observed, like the depths that they have gone to, commendable. So when I started reading, I asked sir ये आपने notice किया क्या, मतलब how is this person on 30th telling you कि ये stolen है? Sir is like, Priya, we had not seen this. मैंने sir,
Yeah,
it's a
it says, I'm
biased
reading
opinion.
from the report. The court noted that the chassis and the engine numbers of the vehicle could not be conclusively identified.
Yes.
Despite this, the ATS had linked the motorcycle to Sadhvi Pragya Thakur, claiming she was its owner and conspirator in the blast.
Yes. So this is how link ban gaya pehla wo, and then what they did was, when the scientific officer had come and taken up the chassis, like taken a photo of the chassis number, ठीक है, he's in his own report, so the crime scene report is different from a forensic analysis report. So on the crime scene report, which is to be furnished within a very short span, you cannot sit on it basically, because they need it, they need to go ahead with the investigation. In that, he notices and he writes, if it is fake or not, or rather genuine or not, has to be ascertained. Look at the vocabulary. So I'm a forensic psychologist, right? So we have something known as we look at body language, we look at the kind of vocabulary which is being used. So when you look at it, vocabulary, if it's genuine or not, here the person is not a biased mind. Here when they say this is fake, without any evidence, the person is using fake. He never says I have to ascertain the genuineness of the chassis number. So let me ask people कि ये bike किसकी है? You see the difference between the two statements which is made. This is how I was able to, I told sir, point this out. This is not an application of mind. यहाँ पे definitely somebody is trying to influence
Idea has already
something.
germinated in his mind
Yes.
कि ये fake है.
Fake है.
तो ये germination के लिए किसी ने seed डाला है.
Definitely, because why will a person जो just एक local crime branch से आते हैं, like I said, he doesn't have the jurisdiction. केस तो वैसे ही ट्रांसफर होने वाला है, बिकॉज उनके पास नहीं रहेगा वो. इट्स इम्पॉर्टेंट, ओके, मतलब फ्रॉम द रैंक्स एंड फाइल्स इट्स अ लिटिल इम्पॉर्टेंट. तो वाई विल ही मेक सच अ ग्रेव स्टेटमेंट कि ये तो चुराया हुआ है. सो एंड दिस इज द सेम. सो व्हेन अ फोरेंसिक साइंस ऑफिसर विल कम, द इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग ऑफिसर विल ब्रीफ द साइंटिफिक ऑफिसर कि यहाँ पे ऐसा ऐसा हुआ है. फन फैक्ट, ही claims and the judge has noted कि I do not agree with the claim that he is making. So he claims the only thing which I was informed about was कि यहाँ पे blast हुआ है. I was never informed about the riots. Sir, how is that possible? Being a forensic science expert, I'm pretty sure you were watching TV. You met with Hemant Karkare. He was because on the same day the case was transferred to ATS, so he was there on according to his statements, he was there on site. He's met with Hemant Karkare. He's met with everybody. How is it possible कि he did not know कि वहाँ पे riots हुए हैं? How is that possible? And when as a examiner, if I don't know वहाँ पे riots हुए हैं, मुझे सिर्फ इतना पता है कि bomb blast हुआ है, तो obviously everything that I'm going to conclude is going to be with respect to a bomb blast. I will never say that perhaps the 111 people, or rather the 85 people who were injured, were not actually injured as a result of bomb blast, but as a result of the riots which ensued. Right? That this is where I got. This was very shocking for me, that how I have also been in the same setup. I am not saying that I was a government officer, but at least I worked with them. I was in the same setup. I am privy to what happens. I have never seen this happening. So I told sir, इसको FIR नहीं मिली थी क्या? Because they have to submit an FIR outlining everything that has happened. तब पता चलता है कि original FIR was actually never furnished. There was a copy of FIR which was furnished. I said आप उसमें पढ़ो. मतलब हमारा mandate होता है, first we have to read the FIR अच्छे से, because you have to document the FIR number, dated, सब कुछ, मतलब details have to be documented कि ये case है. तो Viral, I told Viral that please see if it's written कि riots happened or not. So turns out there were two separate FIRs. One was just for the blast and the other one was just for the riots. So they never put the two incidents together. Because they never put the two incidents together, and only the blast FIR was always given as a request. So let's say you're in a law enforcement agency, I'm a forensic agency.
All these years, only one FIR?
उनको जो वो टाइम पे
हाँ.
असेसमेंट करने के लिए एफआईआर दिया ना
हाँ,
कि ये
वो
केस
पहले
ये वाला
बार,
है,
हाँ, ब्लास्ट का था.
वो ब्लास्ट कर दिया. एंड ही सेइंग मुझे पता ही नहीं है ये राइट्स हुए थे. हाउ डिड यू नॉट नो कि राइट्स हुए थे?
It was on TV 24 hours.
Exactly. So you were so divorced from the world कि you just did not know.
And it wasn't as if it was taken to a lab in Chandigarh or somewhere. Don't know
Exactly.
what is happening in Maharashtra.
In
Nothing
fact,
like that.
initially the assessment, I mean the analysis was being done in RFSL Nashik. It was being done there, and he had travelled 3 hours. So one thing I would like to point out, which is where I felt that there is something which is not right. If there's a blast, the police will never contact the forensic officer